Well, hello, hello, hello. I want
Hello.
to welcome everyone to the monthly Pause Reset Brunch podcast. Yes, it's for the month of October. Even though we are close to the end, I still made it. My name is Natalie Francis-Clarke. I am the host of this podcast. And this month, I have none other than the beautiful Meurene Forsyth. And before we begin, I'm just going to read you a little glimpse of her life. So Meurene's story started in Grenada, where she spent her early years cultivating her passions and honing her skills. A native of the island, she found her love for sports, particularly netball and track and field, and her burgeoning interest in the culinary arts, thanks to her grandmother, who ignited her passion for cooking. In 1973, Meurene took a bold step and migrated to the bustling streets of New York City. There, she embarked on her career in the health industry, gradually climbing from the ladder from a supervisor to a respected manager. Her dedication and commitment to the field became evident in her accomplishments. She also rekindled her love for netball, which led to the formation of two netball teams in Brooklyn, New York during the 1980s. So while thriving in this industry, Meurene ventured into a new arena of entrepreneurship. In partnership with a close friend, she founded Wilma's Kitchen, a successful catering business that served diverse and hungry masses in New York City. In 2004, Meurene decided to embark on a new adventure and migrated to Charlotte, North Carolina. There, she joined the Novant healthcare system, continuing her commitment in the healthcare industry. In 2010, the seeds of a taste of spice catering were sown, reflecting Meurene's culinary prowess and her deep connection to her Caribbean heritage. Her dishes delighted the taste buds of many, and her business was a testament of her culinary artistry. Meurene's involvement in the Caribbean community um, in Charlotte began in 2010, where she joined the Caribbean International Cultural Association, which is a nonprofit that provides scholarships to graduating seniors of Caribbean descent. Massive Mass Productions. This is a band she created. It started as a mass carnival band, bringing the vibrant spirit of the Caribbean culture to life. However, MMP has recently evolved into a nonprofit organization with a mission to educate and empower the Caribbean diaspora. Meurene and her four co-founders aim to bridge the knowledge gap by sharing the rich culture of art, literature, culinary cuisine, and heritage of the Caribbean within the community. So today, Meurene is a well-deserved retired individual. She keeps herself busy, though, with her small businesses, travels the world, and showers love upon her four successful children and her grandchildren. Her legacy as mother, grandmother, and community advocate endures, inspiring all who crosses her path with her smile and her energy. Let us welcome Meurene Forsyth. Hello.
Hello.
so, so before I even begin asking you some questions, what are you eating or drinking right now?
I'm not eating anything right now. I'm just enjoying some cold ice water.
Okay, okay, I hear you. Well, I had my water earlier. Now I'm drinking my tea, some nice ginger and turmeric tea. Okay, so let's get right into it. All right. So you were born on the Spice Isle, Grenada, and then you moved to New York City in the 70s. What was the culture shock during the 70s that you experienced?
Well, The first culture shock that I really experienced was the snow. I came here on the 21st of December, 1973, and it was snowing. That was a shock. No one told me growing up or even as an adult in Grenada that there was snow. So my mother said, let's go outside. And we did. And we fell in the snow, slipped down the stairs. She said to me, girl, I'm in this country 4 years. I never fall down. So there am I in the snow, touching it and it's melting. And yeah, that was it. Culture shock.
And I could just imagine how cold it was, eh?
It was biting cold. Your ear, your nose. We had gloves on, but that didn't do anything. It was still biting.
Mm.
And you have to walk to the subway to get to work.
Mm. Did you ever feel like moving back to Grenada from that whole hustle and everything else?
After a few, it was like about 2 years, 2 to 3 years, I was there unhappy. The sun is shining like mad, and you go outside and it's cold like hell, and you don't understand that concept.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to go back home. I booked a one-way ticket, sold my apartment, all the plans, everything. I took my clothes and American Airlines, I guess it was, to Grenada, only to find out that I was pregnant. So I went to the GYN and I was having complications because I had terrible fibroids.
Mm.
Fibroids was having my daughter in the corner and no way to breathe. So he said to me, you better go back to New York. So that was a very devastating day. Sad, confused. So I came back to New York.
How soon after did you move? Did you have to go back?
About the end of 3 months.
Man,
Yeah.
by that time you had thawed off from the
I
cold. And
got into my routine, you know, to the beach in the morning and the afternoon. I did look for a job. I did get hired by Liat because that was a very good job traveling. Because, I'll come see my mom. Started to work with Liat and had to leave. So
wow.
I came back to America. I had my daughter, the best thing in the world. And I settled in. I just, I'm very adjustable. That's one thing with me.
Mm-hmm.
I settled in and I said, this is it. And the USA has been very good to me. Financially, a good life, mentally. I got to know my mom because I did not know her. My father took me away when she was 15 years. She had me and
Mm.
shipped her away to Trinidad. So I never knew my mom. Just pictures, beautiful, beautiful lady. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a positive thing that came into my life in America.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
today she's 87.
God bless her.
Yeah.
God bless her. So, that's good. You got to know your mom. Some
Yeah.
people don't. Yeah, yeah. And the fact that you all are communicating, some people might have had a
Not
hard time doing that.
her at all because I had a good life.
Mm-hmm.
Did not resent her. But I was just so shocked and I used to think about, gee, this is such a terrible thing to do to my mother, mentally. You just
Mm.
think, but that's how, culture is.
I'm glad you had, compassion.
Lots of compassion, yeah. I love my mom.
Okay. So, Meurene, you had two catering businesses. right? And as you stated in the bio, this was a passion. The culinary um, part was something that was ignited from being with your grandmother. Can you remember like a memory that you would like to share with us?
No, I love being in the kitchen with my mom when all my other sisters and cousins were outside playing. I was in her frock tail, as we say. Um, yeah, and she would season the meat on Saturdays. We would go to the market, get all the meat and the spices and the fruits. We'd come home, and we used to go early at 5 in the morning. So by 7 o'clock, we home and lay everything on the table. And I looked at her carefully, seasoning the meats, and I love this the aura and just loving all that seasoning. My grandmother was woman of few words. She didn't say, put this and do this. I just looked on and I grasped it. And it made me feel good when the food was cooked. So one Saturday I told her I didn't want to go to the market with her. And she left me home and we had spices at home, but we always get it every week. Started everything. And when she came with the meat, I said, let me do it. And from that day, I seasoned the meat. But she never said, we grew up in the island and she never said, oh, this is good or job well done. Mm-mm. We never got that from our grandparents of praising you. It was
Mm-hmm.
something that you had to do, you had to learn. Like you had to wash your clothes and iron it. Like how we praise our children now. We didn't get that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So there was another thing though I cannot do at all is bake. One Saturday
Mm.
she in charge of the flour to knead it. She showed me how to knead it. She didn't talk, she just showed me. And girl, when that lady came home, the bakes and the bread was so hard, she threw it to the window. Never baked, never baked again to this
When
day.
she was trying to feed it to the dog, she
Yes,
said no.
she just threw it to the window.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so that's a Thanksgiving joke now. you know? Yeah. Growing up was fun. I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoy cooking. And and you know what is satisfying? So you have a big wedding and you go around to pick the dishes up and there's nothing on the dish. The people enjoyed your food. That's
Nice.
key. I don't have to ask, do you like the food? That was always my key. If
Mm-hmm.
like the catering company.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So from netball, the culture, and so forth in New York City, why did you decide to move to Charlotte, North Carolina, of all places,
Well, my first two kids were born in the 90s, and it was a different era.
in New
We,
York?
yes, we left the door open, the key was in the door, nobody robbed you. You walked the street 1, 2 in the morning, you never felt any sense of fear. But
Mm-hmm.
then no, I'm sorry. My first two kids were born, yeah, they were born in the 90s. But coming to the 20s, the kids is a different story. There's too many in and out the corner store. It's too many things going on in that corner store. You don't know. You understand what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
So that was my cue. I got to take these boys out of New York. Too much killing. It's just too much. And
Mm-hmm.
they were athletes from 5 years old. They started with soccer. They went to basketball, 5 in the morning. Myself and dad, at that time I was married, would have to bring them. Um, so we knew they were athletes, so we really encouraged them, in other words. And it was very expensive in America, in New York. You had to pay for everything. So my daughter, her best friend was from Charlotte, and they went to UNC together. And we came here one summer to a party, and my boys was having such a nice time in the pool. You know, the apartments were cheap and not cheap, affordable compared to New York. The houses were affordable. So I saw the joy in them, and I asked the big one of the two, "You like this?" And he said yes. And I said, "You want to live here?" And he said yes. So that was a wake-up call for me. It was an easy transition to bring them here. They wanted it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when Aisha was going to school in Chapel Hill, I felt so at home. It felt like Grenada, the trees, the quietness, the country. And that drew me to Charlotte. And then I did research it, and the hospital job was not hard to get.
Nice, nice. And then you joined the Caribbean organization in 2010.
Yeah,
So
but
so so from
yes.
2004 to 2010, how was the what took you so long to join an organization, a
Well,
Caribbean organization?
I hung out with them for years, but
Okay.
never be a member. You know, I
Okay.
I, I love them. I love the Caribbean um feeling, you know, like we say, the old talk and the parties were nice. And I helped from in the back. I'm not really someone to be out there quietly. I do things quietly sometimes. And then I said, okay, I'm a join them. And that's when I joined in, officially became a member in 2010.
Okay. So you were specific when you described your children as successful.
Yes.
And look at the smile. She's smiling. She's smiling.
Yeah, I'm very, very proud of my kids. I think my calling in life was to be a mom. I can tell you and I can say I have been a good mom. I respected my kids. They got their licks at home, you know. So you have to respect your kids sometimes because it turns wrong to haunt you, especially when they get into adult. And I put the fear of God into them. I don't care who's outside at 6 o'clock. Don't let me come and get you. You have to be inside at 6. I don't care. So we had structure, in other words, in everything. And that's how I grew up. It's very important. Um, my first two kids was for one husband, and then he died, unfortunately, from cancer very early in his 50s. God bless him. And then I got married to the kid's father, which lasted for about 15 years. And unfortunately, but we were great, great co-parent. No problem. When I came here to Charlotte, the kids were very excited when I explained to them how they can play many leagues at a time. You know, the church league, AAU, and the school league. So my whole life, 8 years, was basketball. And today, my first son had his own consulting firm, which mainly was in the Caribbean, Haiti, a couple of other islands. And because of the earthquake in Haiti, you know, he lost a lot of money, millions, but his concern to me, what he told me, he said, "Mom, I don't care about the money. It's the people that I worked with that are dead." You know,
Mm,
so he has a lot of empathy. He has a good soul. My daughter, she has been a farm rep from the age of 22, and she's 44, and now she has stepped up from being a rep in the field to marketing. My other son, who's in Washington, he is the head of the JV basketball team,
mhm.
and he's also the director of IT at Sidwell Friends in Washington. And the third one, he has had his share of good basketball. He traveled to Europe, 5 countries, 21 games. he was offered a scholarship, not a scholarship, a contract with the English team, but we decided not to. The coach decided not to because he wanted him to get his degree. He's successful in his own little way. He's a hustler like his mom. You know, he works, but he does a lot of side jobs.
Okay. So three successful boy children and one successful daughter. I love it.
2 grandkids, a boy and a girl. They're both in college, full scholarship.
Sweet. Nice. Okay, so what was the difference in raising? I know you gave a little bit, but you talked about the times were different when you raised your first two in New York versus the your two youngest in Charlotte, North Carolina. So what advice, because it seems as though you have a great relationship with your children. You talked about respecting them. What advice would you give a parent today? Just something quick.
Just be honest with your kids. Be honest with yourself growing them up. Don't paint the picture that you were this high and mighty good person. They don't have to know, but you talk to them about certain things. You give them the reason why. See, our parents always said, don't do this, but they never gave us the reason. And have an open ear. If your son comes home and he says the teacher is on his nerves, listen, go to school. Because if two people has a confrontation in the school, two kids, right? One has to start, you know? And that was my main thing. One has to start it, whether it was your son or the other child. But the main thing to kids is you listen to them. Parents don't listen, especially the old school. I love, love them. I kiss my big son when I get to New York. He raises me up still. His wife said, don't you think you're too big for that? He swings me around. All my kids went to college and then never went on spring break. They came home. I said, you all know? No, they came home. Because home is comfortable and they can talk to their mom. And that's what they tell their children now, you know? Yeah, you have to have a knack to being a mother. It's not the military.
Okay. Love it. So let's get into massive mass productions, right? So by your states, you started MMP as a carnival mass band, right? However, it's now taken a different direction. Caribbean still, definitely, but it's a new mission to educate the community and friends while still empowering the Caribbean diaspora. And I'm just gonna give you a chance to just to talk about this, just to talk about how this came to be.
Yeah. So I was in the Caribbean world in 2018, which was successful.
The current carnival committee.
Yes.
Okay.
I was in that world. The Caribbean at that time, I felt that we were so together because it was massive. We had a good time. But after the pandemic, I saw a shift. How can I explain it? This, you go to parties, but we're not jiving, everybody stand up. We're not jiving like before. Something was missing. So I decided to get away from the carnival world. And I thought to myself, what at a place where, especially the young Caribbean kids can come and have concerts and learn the square dance, and even the big people too. Just have a good
Lento. I know in months that we
right,
use
and
lento.
that sort of thing. Right? We could have a skit, you know, a skit which is the best thing in the world to me. And so I was hoping that I can get some people interested. And lo and behold, I spoke to my friend whose name is Natalie, and she was interested. But I was going to more, when I was speaking to her, I don't know why, but I was getting to more of the feathers when that was not what I wanted. So she drew me back in and said, let's do the culture, the cooking, the music, the patois, the French, Haiti, Cuba. And, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm like, yes, yes, that's what I have in mind. So we have a panel of 5 strong people that has the same concept,
Mm-hmm.
right? So massive mass production was formed. And we are going to, positively thinking, try to bring the Caribbean culture to the young people.
So I have to say, I do. She's talking about me. I am the Natalie that she's referencing, right? And I do remember when when you came to me with the idea, and I was like, absolutely. And I think it was because I was saying there's so much to the Caribbean culture that a lot of people aren't aware of. It's not just, I mean, as you can see Instagram, we see what is prevalent, you know, on social media. But when you talk about skits, I grew up with skits, literature, like those are things that we hold so dear. And a lot of people don't know about, you know, the art, just the beautiful pieces that are created, the poetry,
Mm-hmm.
um, and even the cuisine, you know, as you say, sometimes certain things are lost, why certain bushes are used, right?
Yeah.
So I was talking to a good friend of mine's, and she's having some inflammation and things like that. And I said, hey, don't forget, sorrel is good for inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't know these things, right? About the different bushes that we use, for a lot of that is being lost. So, of course, you know, thank you for including me um, in this vision.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you make me excited. So of course, I'm here for it. I'm definitely here for it. Um, However, I know we can't really get into too much detail, but do you want to let people know what date they need to save?
So we have a vision that we are going to follow. On August the 3rd, 2024, we are going to have a Charlotte Caribbean Culture Day. The venue is booked. Um, we have the foundation built, and we are about to build it upwards.
Mhm. Awesome. And just to reiterate, is not a carnival, is a celebration of the culture, the rich heritage that will we aim to incorporate not just on the English speaking side, but the French as well as the you know, Hispanic speaking side. So
Yeah,
good,
we go.
great vision, Miss Meurene, great vision.
And then we're going to have vendors, musicians, artists from certain Caribbean country. Um, we will
Yeah.
have
So let's
the
not too much.
and huh?
I give too
No, I mean
much.
there's something I wanted to touch on in
Uh-huh.
the culture.
Mm-hmm.
So the country that I came from is Grenada, and it's a country of color, right? So I migrated here in the early 70s when Black Power was, when the Black Power movement was at its highest. And to me, that was another culture shock that I had because, you know, they had demonstrations and, you know, fight the power. And I did not experience that kind, that, um, what's the word should I use? I did not experience that in the Caribbean. You know, we were Black, we are Black, but we didn't have that powerful events. Let's put it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think it's because well, not all. Let's talk about, you know, the English speaking islands. Do you think and I'm sure there are countries that have their turmoils. I mean, you hear about it. But do you think also for those islands that didn't experience that, it was because we were predominantly Black?
Yeah,
So
we are predominantly Black, but we grew up not seeing color.
more so
We were
class.
yes, but you know what I'm saying? And when I came here too, the culture is so different, but we are all Black. Like I said, I'm in America. I've been here for 51 years, but I never forgot I'm an American, but I never forgot my culture. You know, we cook differently. We have soca and reggae. You know, they have the blues and R&B, and we dance a lot. Our dancing is whining, you know, and people might think it's vulgar, but that's the culture. So that's what I'm envisioning that we want to bring to the younger generation of Caribbean heritage in Charlotte.
Awesome. I love it.
Yes.
So for the so is this specifically for, I know, but I just want you to explain to the audience, is this specifically for a Caribbean audience?
No.
Meaning or are you trying to reach out to everyone? Because the goal is to teach, right?
Yes. The tool, our mission is to teach. Like, for example, we can have cooking classes. The Americans love our food. Why not learn how to cook it? Because when I had my business, I had cooking classes.
Awesome.
You know? And it wouldn't taste like, they would be like, Miss Meurene, it didn't taste like what you did. With time, practice brings perfect.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the road we want to go down. It's open to everybody. Like I said, we are Americans, but we did not forget our culture.
Right. So, give us a fun fact about Meurene Forsyth. Give us a fun fact, because I know you're
Forsyth is a very easygoing person. I love to have fun. If we go to the party and everybody's sitting down and I get to the party, everybody's going to get up. Why did you leave home? My motto is, when I leave home to go to the party, we having a good time, whether have 1, 2, or 3 people. I love helping people. I think I have a good heart because I preach that to my kids. Have a good heart. Have empathy. Listen to when someone is talking. Do not listen to answer. I don't all the time, but
repeat that again now. Repeat that again. Listening is a skill.
Yes. And when I was younger, I didn't have it. But myself and my daughter, we very good friends. And one day she told me, she said, "Ma, you have to listen to me when I talk to you. But before I think you have the answer already." And she was right. She was right. So that I have learned. When my kids tell me something, I listen. It's the modern world. I'm from the old world. But we have to adjust. We have to
So
adjust.
I'm gonna put something out there. Let me tell you, she does like to have fun. She is an extremely helpful individual. And in a party that can be dark as night, she will whip out her shades. She will whip out her shades, okay? And but honestly, such a blessing.
Yeah.
I have one other question for you before we wrap up,
Okay.
and that's how does a busy retired young lady such as yourself practice self-care?
Self-care, very important. I go to the gym. I eat well. And I take my medication. Take your medication. If the doctor tells you, do not eat, well, Miss Meurene, your calcium is high. We want you to cut down on the cheese. Cut down on the cheese because he knows better. I always say that doctor are human being playing God, but thank God for them because they know. They went 8, 9, 10 years to get this knowledge of to take care of us. So you have to listen to your doctor. And as we get older, like my doctor, and let me give you an example of what my doctor said to me. She said, Miss Meurene, you look young, you're good, but you way ahead. This is you. And this is your heart and your knees and your hip trying to catch up because you're all the way out there mentally. But remember, as we get older and we hit 55, 60, the eyes get worse, the knees get worse. So we have to slow down, back up, slow down. So you align yourself. And that's my key. I love when she told me that. Because I don't feel my age, So self-care, call your friends, see if they're okay, be conscious of what you eat, and you have to exercise. And that's what I do. And I ask God so that I can live to be 100, so I can see my grandkids.
100.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have longevity in our family, very much. My mother is 87. She has 3 more years to go, and she's even better than me. And I must tell you, I'm the picture of my mother.
Okay.
Yeah. And I love it.
I know I said that was the last question, but I just have one question. What is the one thing you love to cook the most? What is your favorite dish to cook?
Chicken, rice and peas, and a salad.
That sounds so healthy. Still.
Well, I like jerk chicken and I do the rasta pasta. I can cook anything. Italian, I can cook anything. But my dish from Grenada is the stew chicken because I Sunday you kill the fall. We never, buy chicken. You kill the fall, you ring the net, and you cook it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Wow. Is there anything else you would like the audience to know before we wrap up?
Yes, I would like the audience to come on board with us, give us advice, encourage, and let's get this thing on the road.
you want to give your telephone number so we can, so anyone can get a hold of you if
I
they'd
can
like to know more?
718-810-2013. And our email is massivemass64@gmail.com. And we also have a website, Massive Mass at WIC.
Okay. And it's currently being under
Yeah,
construction, so.
it's alive, but we are upgrading.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for agreeing to be my podcast guest. I didn't have to wring your arm too much. I appreciate it. And if anyone is out there, if you're interested in being a guest on the Pause Reset Brunch podcast, please feel free to send me an email. That's pauseresetbrunch@gmail.com. You can also check out my website, www.naturalandting.com. Or please feel free to check out my Instagram, naturalandting L.L.C. All right. So I once again want to thank Miss Meurene for being my guest this month. And for you out there, have an awesome day on purpose. Thank you.
Natalie, I want to thank you for having me. It's been my pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you.